Welcome to Western Roleplay. This is a video tutorial on your WW meter and all of the icons on your meter, what is in them and how to use them. Everything on Sim that you can interact with that interacts with your WW meter will have floating text that starts with WW above it. Like for example these apples. If I want to put this apple into my meter, I will click the apple and it will say that I've picked it. And when I go to look for it, it will be under one of the top icons. Anything that you can use like a component or a food or anything that you collect like that will all be in one of the top icons. If you look at the first one, this is the meat icon. If you click on it, you'll notice that I have like eggs, spicery, flesh, fish, soup, bread. Some of these things I collected from the shop man, like meal and egg. Some of these I collected from like fishing or trapping the bison. But the things like pancakes, soup, bread, apple pie, those things were made in the cook station. And what you would do is you would collect things like the meal, spicery, egg, and apples, and you would use the cook station to make a dish. And the reason you want to make dishes is because they make your meter go down when you're hungry faster. If I just ate an apple, the hunger would go down a little bit. If I ate a roast, even if my hunger was maxed out, it would be completely reduced. So that's why you want to make dishes. That if you're going into battle and you need to eat before you go into battle, you definitely want to eat something like a roast because it'll make your meter go down faster and you don't have to keep clicking eat, 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 eat. And you always want to make sure you eat before you go into battle so that everything is zeroed out on your meter, all your hunger. You want to make sure you drink, all your thirst is gone, because that will make you in tip-top shape for fighting. The next icon is the water icon, and this is where you find things like water and milk that you collected, also a place for liquid things like oil and honey. The flower icon are things you can collect herbs and stuff on Sim to make medications. Also foods like apples, potatoes if you get from the shop man, potatoes, beans, tomatoes, corn, that all shows up under the flower icon. You can pick cannabis, mushrooms, arnica, hellebores, flax plant, wheat, mildew you get from mining, but there just doesn't seem any rhyme or reason why these are categorized this way. It's just the way that they are categorized. So that's what you find in that icon. The knife, this is where you find basically tools that you need to do other things, like the knife, axe, nails, trap. Things that you make will be put in here. I had to make the knife from other components, the trap from other components, rope, so forth. When you make something from other components, they will be under the knife because they're basically tools. The little toolbox here, this is where you find things that you make that are not food related. So I had to make 10 bars from 10 ore. I had to make a blade so that I could make a knife. I had to make a cord out of cannabis so that I could use that to make something else. So this is where you're going to find those types of things. Although the wood is in here, the wood is actually a component for other things, like making logs. So it's strange that it's in here, but it is. The pickaxe. This is where you're going to find anything that you mined. So when you do mining, the ores are going to show up in here. Then you take these ores over to the furnace and you can make bars, like iron bars, coal bars. And once you have bars, some of the recipes will call for bars that are in the furnace, like to make a blade. But you can also sell the bars to the blacksmith. And then you have this icon, the medicine icon, and this is where you will find any medicine that you made using the medicine station to create medicines. This, you can collect items for this, like the cannabis and the Hellebros and the arnica. All of these things that you collect can be used to make medicines, and then when you make the medicines, they will go into this icon. If you're a healer, you will be able to use these medicines on other avatars. If you are not a healer, all you can do is collect them and make them, and then you could give them to a healer so that you can help them to keep those things stored up so that when there's a fight that the healer can use them. Here you will notice that this is your health and your condition bars. Like if I were running right now, you would notice that my condition bar would start going down because you're exerting yourself. And then once your condition bar gets down far enough, it starts taking toll on your health. When you fight, your health and your condition go down if you get hit with bullets or arrows or whatever. So you really want to try and keep your health and condition up. If you did not eat or drink, your condition would start going down. This is your hunger and thirst bars. You can see that I'm a little bit hungry and a little bit thirsty. If I click on my flower bar and I hit apple and eat, I can get rid of that hunger. The thirst, it's under the little water droplet. I hit water and drink, and that will go down. The coin icon, these are coins that you give to the shop man or the merchant or the blacksmith or bartender. If you want to collect things like eggs, that's under here, you have to get those from the shop man, and you have to pay for those. So if I want eggs to make some kind of dish like pancakes, then I need to give the shop man 10 coins, and that's where I would find them, is under coins. Once you hit the coin, there's no target and range here, but then you have the option to give that coin to someone. This little icon, this automatically puts you into OOC mode. And what that means is you're letting people know that you're out of character. You would use this on Sim if you were showing someone around, or if you were having a discussion with admin that was not part of roleplay. You should put your avatar in OOC mode so that people know that you're not in character having that discussion. You just click it to bring it back up. The hatchet puts you into melee. This is your hand-to-hand combat. So if somebody was near, I would be able to go hand-to-hand. When you go into melee, you want to be in your mouse look. And you would click your left mouse button to fight. And then of course to fight, you would want to be using your WASD key. Oh, I've walked right into the buffalo, so let's get out of here. Notice how my health and condition are going down because the buffalo was right next to me. Okay. So the hatchet puts you into melee and takes you out of it. If you notice when you're in melee, it will say melee above your head. Just click that to go out of it, because if you're in melee and you're just walking around and you're interacting with people, if you click on your mouse button for any reason, you are going to hit them if you're in melee. And they're not going to appreciate that very much. It's not doing it right now because there's nobody close to me, but if there was someone close to me, I would be reacting to their meter. This little icon here with the man, it is really just for admin. It allows us to revive people if they're in role play and they have a fight and the fight is voided because it's not fair or something. We would be able to revive that person by range or by name. It's also used to freeze and unfreeze players. I could freeze you if you were doing something inappropriate on Sim. Like say you kept bumping someone or irritating someone. I could freeze you and then get into your IM and say, why are you doing that to this person? This isn't allowed. And then of course, I could unfreeze. This little button puts you into different statuses in your meter. You saw that OOC is here, and it's just as easy to click that button if you're going OOC. But if you're AFK, you want to make sure you're not sitting in the middle of a sim where there's active role play or where there could be active role play. Typically on our sim we go into a hut or hide somewhere in a cave or something to go into AFK mode. You can also toggle your sounds there so that you can listen to them or not listen to them when you fight or whatever. Arena mode is used for practice. So if you're practicing with someone and not in a real fight, it actually makes your defeated time less. So if you're fighting and you're just practicing, make sure you go into arena mode. Melee, you already saw, it's just as easy to click this button than to come into here. So you want to check on check melee if you are going to fight, but just use your icon, it's faster. There are other things here like fight animation, screen check. Fight animation, this is just a toggle that you can turn that off if you don't want that animation going on when you're fighting. The last button here is your sheet button and your help. Your sheet actually takes you into the web page that has all of the information about your dashboard. This is all about you and the things that are available to you. I can click on the player dashboard, I can go into the admin board, make a ticket queue. If I have a bug that I want to report to the person who made the meter, I can do that. Tells me about the roleplay rules on the sim that I'm in. Gives you the guide for the combat meter usage. This also tells you how many players are online and how many regions are online that are associated with this meter. This tells me how many melee kills I've had, how many ranged kills I've had, and defeats and suicides. Suicides happen once in a while for some reason. If you fall or something, it will say that you've committed suicide. This is an important box, the player race. I'm human, so this tells me how I can interact with my meter, what kind of foods that I can eat. If I were an animal, I would want to either be a predator or a herbivore. Predators, they can eat things like flesh and fish, meats basically. Herbivores can eat plants, so they would be able to graze and interact with the WW meadow. So if you notice, if you see a horse, they will be a herbivore, and if you want to feed that horse, you're going to have to feed it something like basically an apple or something. I think they can eat cannabis as well. If they are a wolf or something like that, they're going to be a predator, and if you want to feed them, you need to feed them something like fish or flesh. And this tells you what a human can do. Human can use inventory, use the meter items to eat and drink. Predators, they cannot use their inventory, so don't give them things, you need to feed them. They have to hunt scripted animals and melee to eat and drink. Herbivores, they cannot use their inventory. They have to eat and drink from the WW meadow or WW lake. unless you feed them, and you can of course feed them by using the feed option under your icons. This shows you a list of the telegraph destinations on SIMS. This is where there are telegraphs, so you could use a telegraph at Fort Cummings and contact Cheyenne, Wyoming, and it will show up in their telegraph system. And that is how you use your dashboard. So welcome to Western Roleplay, and I hope this explains to you how to use your meter.